Have to like pop out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in. It's Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist, joined by Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05. How's it going, Jesse?
It's good. It was a glorious Christian McCaffrey, James Cook day for your boy. Who those are like my two highest roster dynasty running backs. So we are loving life at the moment. It was looking a little shaky, but overall, it's been a good day. So I cannot complain. How about you?
What a chaotic weekend. I don't know. I have some leagues where I'm like, oh, this guy sucked, this guy sucked, this guy sucked, but I'm picked to win by 60 points, and it's like, this league doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Week 15 was chaos.
Yeah,
That Keaton Mitchell injury last night was gruesome. Let me tell you that.
that was rough. His knees going the exact opposite way it was supposed
Yeah,
to.
I'm
I
like,
was like,
oh,
oh
that's
no,
he's done for the year. No shit, he's done for
maybe
the year.
career. like it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a significant. I saw the still shot and I was like, well, I want to vomit. No, thank you. I
Oh.
did. That running
All
back
right.
position for them is cursed.
We won't waste too much time. We'll get right into it. We're gonna do the Week 15 game recaps here. I'm gonna get us started with the Saturday games, which seem like they took place like months ago.
For real.
Excuse me. We will start with Vikings Bengals, and probably the only good game on Saturday. Go figure. 27-24 Bengals, who go to 8-6. Vikings 7-7. So decent quarterback starts here from what looks like QB2s moving forward. Jake Browning goes 324 with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Nick Mullins, 303 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, both in the low 20s. Ty Chandler was awesome, 132 yards and a touchdown. Nobody else did anything out of the running backs on Minnesota. Joe Mixon, 10 carries, 47 yards, saved the day with a touchdown, 3 catches for 14 yards. Chase Brown had 7 carries for 23 yards and 3 for 28, but he did not have the long touchdown this weekend. So he was, I don't know, he didn't kill you, but he didn't help you. The receivers, Jordan Addison had himself a day, 6 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 7 for 84. On the other side, we have T. Higgins goes 4 for 61 and 2 touchdowns. Chase goes 4 for 64. And Tyler Boyd goes 2 for 53. Not much of note among the other receivers. Both tight ends were good, not necessarily great. I guess Hawkinson was pretty solid. 6 for 63. Tanner Hudson goes 5 for 49, proving that I guess he should be considered a more reliable streaming tight end here. What has he moved up to here? Tight end 27, which isn't bad considering he didn't touch the field basically until week 9. So that's not terrible. He's not someone I'd look to start, but desperate times. Both kickers were, I don't know, average. McPherson was okay, 2 for 2 on field goals, 3 for 3 extra points. Greg Joseph was not good, but you didn't start him. 1 for 1 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. Defenses were both startable. Vikings had 1 interception, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Bengals had 2 picks, 3 sacks, and a fourth down stop. What stands out most to you in this one?
It was a night and day experience, and watching the first half compared to the second half, oh boy, did Jake Browning come alive! And I was clowning Jake Browning because it was his first game, but he's very much in that Gardner Minshew of backup quarterback role where they can come in, they can step in, and they can give you a few games. And you saw it, and you even saw the video on the sideline where he's like, "Don't you fucking cut me," right? Where he was very motivated in this game, even though he's been cut by 14. But for some reason, he held against the Vikings and really turned it on in the second half where he looked awesome. The offense looks really good with him. I can't really complain. It does suck for Chase and Higgins. They know they're not living at the same level they were with Burrow. But Higgins finally popped off, lived alive. Chase Brown looked good, Mixon looks usable. So for both of these offenses with backup quarterbacks, they're very much usable, which is nice to see because when you get a backup quarterback, you don't know how it's going to go. So overall, I was happy with this game. I was very worried at halftime because it looked awful, and then the second half they flipped the switch and it looked way better. Like you saw Chandler, he was by far the best asset in this entire game.
This is
And
the
Chase
one that
hasn't
was,
hit his team.
yeah. Chase, so he hurt his AC joint. I don't think he plays next week, which would make T. Higgins a must start wide receiver too. I think that's largely the reason why Higgins was good. It's probably the most targets he's had in a while. So
Yeah, they had Chase up in the
Higgins,
sling right away.
I think Higgins is top 15 next week, assuming Chase is out. If Chase isn't out, I think they're both wide receiver twos. Higgins is a low end one. That kind of scares me. Addison, Jefferson, this one scares me. I don't really know what to do. I don't think Addison's this good. I think Jefferson's a little better than this. I think these are 4 scary receivers here because I don't really know what to do. Obviously, Jefferson and Chase are the best of the 4, but like the quarterback situations, the injury situations, I think I'm likely to just lump all 4 of them into the wide receiver 2 category, and just hope if you have to start any, they hit their upside. But they seem to have really high upside, all 4 of them, but none of them have a floor left anymore.
Yeah,
Ty
we
Chandler,
saw.
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we saw on Addison's like crossing route touchdown. There was 3 defenders that went with Jefferson. Like that's how impactful he is in that offense. So it makes Addison usable where he can open up the field a little bit. So it's nice for Jefferson at least. But yeah, overall, like I agree with you.
I think Ty Chandler is a must start for as long as Madison is out. Joe Mixon is a must start in the sense that he's just getting too much volume in a halfway decent offense. So I think you got to keep starting these guys probably as high end running back 2s. Tight end, Hawkinson's obviously a top 5. We said earlier Hudson's a streamer. And the 2 quarterbacks, I think, are QB2s. Anything you need to add there before we move on? Or
Yeah, Ty Chandler's bell cow. So as long as Madison's not playing, like you very much want Ty Chandler in your lineups. Like he basically ran all of the running back routes. Well, he wasn't on the field a ton for that, but like overall his usage was very, very good. And he was actually good, which is something they haven't had the entire season running back. So I would expect him to be a big focal point in the final weeks of the season.
What's the deal with Ty Chandler's stats? Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's much better without Madison. Who would have thought? Anyways, moving on. Indy 30, Pittsburgh 13. Pittsburgh is falling apart. Gardner Minshew was good. 215 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Mitch Trubisky was so bad he lost his job to Mason Rudolph. 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The running backs are a mess here. Jaylen Warren goes 10 carries. You got to go start her a new video. Yep, you do. Jaylen Warren goes 10 carries for 40 yards. Saved his day kind of by going 5 for 28 through the air. Najee had 12 carries for 33 yards, lost a fumble. So neither was efficient on the ground. Zach Moss on the other side did leave with an injury. That would be an arm injury, doing good, but we don't have any further information. That's scary. He had 4 for 13, 3 for 20, and his day was saved by the touchdown. So none of these guys were really good. Moss was saved by the touchdown. Tyler Goodson stepped in, went 11 for 69 and 2 for 10. So efficiency-wise, he was probably the most efficient out of all 4, and he's not a bad pickup here, although on the waiver wire, although I think it sounds like Jonathan Taylor will be back, which would render him completely useless. Moving on to the receivers, Deontay had 4 for 62 and a touchdown. Pickens 3 for 47. My, is he fallen off in production from what he was early on in the season. Look at that, not great. His high is 16 points back in week 7 over the last, 8 weeks? Not good. This is DJ Montgomery. TJ Montgomery is the best Colts receiver, 2 for 48, all of it on a touchdown. Pittman had the most yards and catches, 4 for 78, but no touchdown. Josh Downs, 3 for 19. The tight ends, a down day for Freiermuth, who goes 3 for 16, and Mo Alley-Cox has 2 for 21, but is saved by a touchdown. Boswell goes 1 for 2, but registers no points in this one because of the missed extra point. Matt Gay was good, 3 for 5 on field goals, but he hit a couple from long distance and 3 for 3 on extra points, although he did miss 2. The DSTs here were the Steelers were tolerable, 3 sacks, one blocked kick, and a 4th down stop. And we have the Colts getting a pretty big game. I think they're top 3 by scoring, maybe top 5. I have to look again. 2 interceptions, 4 sacks, a forced fumble, a recovery, and a 4th down stop. This one's kind of a mess. The receivers were all over the place. Both quarterbacks, I guess Minshew was good. The receivers and the running backs are the issues here. The running backs, none of them were efficient. The receivers, there was a lot of players who had bad stat lines here and were saved by a garbage time touchdown. What do you think?
Right there with it. Yeah, the one thing that stands out is Zach Moss left early in the game, and he ran more routes than either of the running backs. He was set for like a smash game, and he would have had a very good game if he would stay in the field. But injuries happen, and that's life sometimes. So at least he got you the touchdown to survive. But overall, like it was a pretty sloppy game. The Colts got out ahead and just kind of didn't really do anything because Pittsburgh's offense was that anemic. They could not do anything in this game. And it was just brutal to watch this game unfold where Pittsburgh tried as much as they want, but just Trubisky's he's garbage. He's not a good quarterback, and you see it with Trubisky. It is rough. So that's why they're moving on to Mason Rudolph next week. They're benching Trubisky. So this offense is going to be a roller coaster once again because we haven't seen Rudolph play in 2 years, like a year and a half. It's been a long time since he started a game. So yeah, buckle up, Steelers fans. It's going to be wild. I would expect the running backs to be involved a lot with Warren and Najee, but in this role that they have in that offense, it's very limited as it is, right? So overall, I'm really not trying to play Steelers in the playoffs. Like, I really don't want to go down with Deontay getting me or touchdown for Pickens with 6. Just like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. On the flip side, the Colts, yeah.
I don't want to play anyone in this game. Minshew, I think, is a decent QB too. Like, Moss is hurt. Goodson is, I think, going to lose role to Jonathan Taylor, who should be back next week. Like, I'm still going to play Pittman. I guess if that's his floor, it's not a terrible floor. But, like, aside from Pittman, I don't really want anyone on either team in this game.
Yeah, and whoever is back for the Colts next week, they get Atlanta, who is just they're really good against running backs. So it's kind of sucks whoever goes against them anyway. So overall, yeah, like, I don't want to start many guys from this game moving forward next week, if at all. You might have to, though, but don't want to do it.
The final game on Saturday, Lions 42, Broncos 17. Lions moved to 10-4. Broncos are now 500. Russell Wilson goes 223 for 1 touchdown and a fumble loss. Also added in a rushing touchdown. Not a bad day. Goff won some leagues, some matchups this week. 278 yards, but 5 fucking touchdowns. Good God. Yeah. Samaje Perine, he had 6 for 37 and 1 for 11 through the air. Javonte Williams was not great, 12 for 27 and 2 for -7 through the air. McLaughlin, 2 for 2 and 2 for 16 through the air. So the Broncos running backs were useless. The Lions running backs were not. Gibbs goes 11 for 100 yards and a touchdown, 2 for 8 yards and a touchdown through the air. He was awesome. David Montgomery goes 17 carries for 85 yards and 2 for -3. He was not awesome, but he was still pretty damn good on the ground. So Lions, what's that? 185 yards rushing just between these two alone. Oy. Good God. The receivers, we got Cortland Sutton goes 5 for 71. Disappointing because he wasn't really, or didn't get into the end zone. I mean, not a terrible day, but it's not what he had been doing. Judy, that was kind of his best game in a while. He had 3 for 74. Lil Jordan Humphrey comes in and has 3 for 16 and steals away a touchdown that nobody started. What's his start percentage? 0 and right? Yeah, 0-0.
Yeah,
that was very helpful, Sean Payton. Thank you. St. Brown does what St. Brown does because, of course, the Lions go off because the league I had all my Lions in, I lost last week. So thank you, Lions, for abandoning me when I needed you. 7 for 112 and a touchdown for St. Brown. Jamison Williams goes 4 for 47. Reynolds 2 for 41. Nobody else really of note. The tight ends, nothing to see on the Broncos side. Laporta goes 5 for 56. Doesn't sound great, does it? But 3 fucking touchdowns. So
yeah,
good guy.
Yeah.
So you would have had what do you have, like 100 points if you started Goff, Gibbs? Oh, no, more than that.
Oh.
You start Goff, Gibbs, St. Brown, and Laporta. Like, I have a guy in my league who's a Lions homer, and he had all 4 Lions this week. And this week he put up like 140 points just on them.
Yeah, I did a tweet on that. All 5 of those starting options, where if it was the 2 running backs, Goff, the tight end, and the wide receiver, is 128.12 points. Like, they've smashed for you. So if you started all 5 of those, you're looking great right now.
Neither kicker did anything for fantasy. Badgley did what he had to, but it was all extra points. Will Lutz, same thing. They didn't miss. They just didn't do much. The defenses were not great. The Broncos put up 0.5 on 2 sacks alone. The Lions were tolerable. They had 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a recovery. What do we take out of this, aside from the fact that the Lions have like a consolidated share here to like 5 players? A receiver, a tight end, a quarterback, and 2 running backs, and they're all pretty much must starts. Even Montgomery, I know he didn't get the touchdown, so that's a down score, but if that's your floor, it's kind of like Pittman. If that's your floor, I'm starting you every week. I don't care.
Yeah, if some of those touchdowns go his way, you're feeling a lot better about him this week. Interestingly enough, like, I'm really encouraged by this game from Gibbs because this game got out of hand, and Gibbs was splitting work involved. So, like, he's basically at that point where he is an RB1 for fantasy no matter what. Even in a positive game trip like this where you think it would hurt him, it really didn't. Like, he was involved in the entire game. It's just
he's up
nice
to 9 overall. I didn't realize he was that high up.
he's been awesome this last second half of the year, which makes sense. Like he's been way better than Bijan. We can talk about Bijan later.
That's funny. I was pulling up Bijan as you said it. He's 13. I was thinking the same thing. I wanted to see. I wonder where Bijan ranks. 13.
That last game killed him, but their ships in the night like cross each other, going the opposite way. But yeah, this Lions offense is incredible. On the flip side, Denver's offense, I don't know, man. They get New England next week, so I don't think you're starting a single page or Broncos player except maybe Sutton. The weird thing for Williams is William. Like I don't know what the hell they're doing with Javonte because his stuff went down the drain. Like he was third in routes run. He was only saw like 40-something% of snaps. Like he was just not that involved. He wasn't very good. So I don't know if this was Sean Payton trying to teach him a lesson or whatever. But this is it's been pretty rough for Javonte. He's RB29 on the year. It's not good for him.
I think I'm starting Russ and Sutton next week, and that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even feel great about Russ going into New England.
No, in Superflex, if I need a QB,
yeah.
Like I don't want to start. I don't have any leagues where I don't think I have him in any single QB leagues.
No,
and either. If you have him in single QB, you're probably not still playing. So
I have a 3C team that is dependent on him. He's like my QB1 on that team. It is treacherous to say the least. I am not loving life in that league. But yeah, like the Lions when they hit, they're incredible. Like this is the offense you chase for this exact reason. You want all these guys in your lineup just because when they hit. Like it's amazing. It's that simple sometimes.
All right, let's fire up the Sunday games. We start off with a bang. Carolina 9, Atlanta 7. Arthur Smith managing his way out of first place in the worst division in football. God, he's terrible. Both quarterbacks were terrible. This entire game was terrible. Desmond Ridder, 152 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He sucked. Bryce Young, not to be outdone, sucked even more. He had 167 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Good God. The running backs, Tyler Algier leads them in carries, 14 carries for 45 yards. Cordero Patterson, 5 carries for -2. Bijan, 7 carries for 11. What did he do here? Did he fumble and they just punished him all game because that's how idiot coaches are?
Well, he was losing like goal line work and stuff already in this game to like CPAT and Algier, and then the fumble happened and he was just basically just gone. Like he didn't exist after that point.
What a god awful fucking coaching job. Now that Brandon Staley's been whacked, I think I'm gonna devote all my energy and just spam hating Arthur Smith on Twitter. He needs to go next.
Yeah, it was the lowest snap share of his entire career. That's how bad it was.
Chuba Hubbard, 22 for 87 and 2 for 16 through the air. He was pretty good. Didn't get a touchdown, so that, capped his ceiling. Miles Sanders is droppable if you haven't already done so. 6 carries for 2 yards. He's useless. Speaking of useless, let's move on to the receivers. Drake London leads the Falcons, 2 for 24. Nobody else worth mentioning. On the Panthers side, Thielen, 4 for 43. Mingo, 4 for 32. Smith-Marset, 4 for 31. Not a single startable receiver in that group. The tight ends, not to be outdone, were equally as bad. Jonnu was the prize in the group, going 2 for 61. Pitts, 3 for 37. And 2 for 32 from Tommy Tremble. This game was ugly. Younghoe Koo, 1 for 1 on the kicking. Extra points. He was terrible. Pinheiro barely got you by, 3 for 3 on field goals. Wasn't terrible. Both defenses were good. How about that? Neither team scores. Your defenses or your DSTs tend to be good. Falcons, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and 2 fourth down stops. Panthers, an interception, a forced fumble recovery, and a 4th down stop. This game I'm scrolling through. I don't want to roster defenses, kickers, tight ends. I don't want to roster a wide receiver. You have to roster Bijan at this point, and Chubbard probably. I think I want Bijan and Hubbard, and I'm treating both of them like running back 2s moving forward. And then I don't really want to roster a single player on this entire game.
Don't blame me. It's been so rough. So, they've shifted ever since the new OC took over. They've become very much a run-centric offense in Carolina, where they're running about. If you look at Chuba's carries the last 3 games, it's like 22, 25, 23, and 22, the back-to-back-to-back. Like, he's been very much in that bell cow role of that offense. It's interesting because they gave Miles Sanders that fat contract, and they're like, oh, actually, he's not that good. We have a better running back here at home, so go figure. So, great job management. But, yeah, Chuba's really good. He just needs touchdowns. It's just really difficult for him to pay off, but he's a solid RB2, moving forward. I like the way they use him in that offense, at least. Outside of that, it's rough. It's really rough. So if you had Bijan like I did on the bye and you have him next week, it's not good. I'm not feeling great about that matchup. Just let me tell you.
See, that's That's when we're in the few leagues I do have Bijan. It's a case of where I think I'd rather not have Bijan. Because if you play him, I almost feel obligated to have him in my lineup, but I don't want to have him in my lineup. It's just terrible.
It's rough. Like, obviously he'll be better than this game because this is just a disaster. They're playing the Colts, so they're gonna have to they're gonna have to move it fast. Like it's gonna be forced to play fast. So at least there's that. But man, it's rough.
So I'm gonna start him again, and I'm gonna let him burn me. But
probably.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Next up, Cleveland 20, Chicago 17. I'm surprised this was this close. Fields, not a great day. 166 passing, a touchdown, and 2 picks. 7 for 30 on the ground, which is not like him. He normally has about double that. Joe Flacco, 374 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, but the YOLO ball led to 3 interceptions, perhaps keeping him out of the top 5 at quarterback on what would have been a good week. The carousel here. Let me just state this. I heard someone say this earlier, and I really like to echo this. These 6 running backs, I don't want any of them. I'm done. They all keep changing. I wanted Jerome Ford, but that's been changing to Kareem Hunt, who's getting all the high-value touches. They're mixing in Pierre Strong. It's Foreman, then it's Herbert, then it's Roshan. I want none of them, but Roshan goes 5 for 36 and 4 for 24 through the air. Herbert, 6 for 8. That's impressive. Deonta Foreman, not to be outdone, goes 6 for -6. How?
Good question. That is exactly what's
Jerome Ford, 8 for 20 and 4 for 11 through the air. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries, 8 yards. Good God, these guys sucked. I'm going to skip this section and just say what I originally started with. These 6, don't roster any of them. Don't start any of them. Even Jerome Ford, I don't care. What is he, 22, 20, 18? I don't care. I'm done with them. I'm done with this carousel here. Hunt is taking over for Ford. These guys are a shit show. I want nothing to do with this. Moving on. We have the wide receivers. This is what? Oh, DJ Moore. Okay, I thought so. I couldn't remember. DJ Moore, 4. I'm sorry, I had a temporary stroke there for some reason. Couldn't remember his name. DJ Moore, 4 for 52. Nobody else worth mentioning, aside from the fact that Darnell Mooney lost in the game. If he could catch, they would have won. Amari Cooper, who I benched in this league, despite the fact that I wanted to play him, but I was talked out of it for DeAndre Hopkins. Lovely. 4 for 109 and a touchdown. He was excellent. Did he have 14 targets again this week? No, he only had
8.
But he had more points. He had double the points on half the targets.
Yeah, he won the game for them, but that last one.
Cedric Tillman, 4 for 52. Nothing else of mention there. The tight ends, Cole Kmet was great, 5 for 23 and a touchdown. And Njoku was incredible, 10 for 104 and a touchdown. These guys are both must starts. The kickers were both average. 6 points for Santos, 8 for Hopkins. Both DSTs were great. The Bears put up 3 interceptions, 4 sacks, and a fumble and a touchdown. The Browns had 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, a recovery, and 2 fourth down stops, both putting up exactly 20.5. I don't even know where to begin here. Go for it.
Joe Flacco is an experience, man. It was a struggle early on. They were rough, and he brought them back. Even though he had 3 interceptions.
Was this a weather issue?
Like, it wasn't great weather in that game, but like he turned it on in the second half, and he was going YOLO. The fun thing is they have the highest neutral pass rate in the NFL with Joe Flacco, which means they are slinging the rock. Like, they do not care. They're going to pass. They're going to pass a lot. And this is what we see from Flacco. Like, there's going to be some turnovers, but, man, there's going to be some highlights with the Amari Cooper down the one, like, 60-yard touchdown to basically seal the game for them. And he puts up 380 total yards passing in Fields. Like, he has 3 interceptions, and he drastically outscores Fields in fantasy. Like, that shows you where Flacco is at. Like, it's hard to trust Fields with what's going on right now. That was a rough game. But, like, speaking of Ford, his role is so much better. It's just like you're talking about. It's the touchdowns. Because he had 20 routes run. Kareem Hunt had 9. He had 35 snaps to 22 for Hunt. He had 4 targets. Hunt had 1. And he even had more carries. It's just touchdowns. That's what it is. It's just unfortunate. In this game, nobody was efficient on the ground. Njoku's a god. So, like, Njoku in this role in this offense is incredible. So, Njoku, we were talking about McBride and stuff off screen. Njoku is up there. Like, his role with Flacco is some of the best you'll see. Like, for just getting absolutely peppered with targets. So, yeah, I want Njoku everywhere in this playoff run because he's going to be very impactful these next 2 weeks.
I feel like this is finally the year where we said tight end is deeper than ever before, and it's come true. Because I feel like there's probably 12 tight ends I feel comfortable starting on a weekly basis. And these are 2 of them right here. Kmet, Laporta, we've talked about a few. I don't want any in there. I don't want any there. Well, Frymuth maybe. TJ Hawkinson. Like, I never thought tight end would be the safest position, but here we are.
Yeah, it's nice.
Moving on. Bucks 34, Packers 20. Baker fucking Mayfield, 40 points. 381 plus 4 touchdowns. Good God. That's a hell of a day. Jordan Love goes 284 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks lost a fumble. The running backs, Rachaad White, he's got to be top 5, right? Top 4. There he is.
Yeah, he's got to be up there.
Good God, he's 4th. So 21 carries, 89 yards, 2 for 50, and a touchdown receiving. He got everything. The Packers side of the ball, Aaron Jones got most of the work. Didn't do a whole lot with it. 13 for 53, 4 for 16 through the air. So wasn't terrible. I guess it's better than what he's been giving you because he finished a game. So
I remember that pregame talk. I was like, God damn it, they were wrong.
The receivers, the Packers used to be a 3-headed monster, and now they are, even with Christian Watson out. It's just another young receiver being mixed in. Chris Godwin resurrected from the dead, 10 for 155. David Moore goes 2 for 68 and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 4 for 57, saves his day with a touchdown. Jaden Reed, 6 for 52 and a TD. Dontavian Wicks, who he's a good waiver pickup. Getting a lot more snaps. I don't know if the targets are there, and Christian Watson could be back, but still, Wicks goes 6 for 97. Dobbs, 3 for 30 is disappointing. Yeah, Reed might be the guy I think to own there. This is a mess. There's a lot of messy teams. I don't really know what to say on a lot of these.
Reed's also hurt too right now, so that's why it's not.
Yeah, what did he do? I forgot.
He went out mid game before he got checked for a concussion, and then he hurt his foot, and he basically didn't play the fourth quarter. So like his snap share is weird in this game because of that.
I don't even have an update on. Kieft is the tight end there in Tampa Bay because he got a touchdown, 1 for 2. Kate Otten goes 2 for 44, but no touchdown. Tucker Kraft, 4 for 57 and a touchdown. Both kickers were goodish. McLaughlin puts up 11 points. Anders Carlson, 8. Both defenses were salvageable. The Bucks get 12 points on 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a recovery, and 2 fourth down stops. The Packers get 9.5 on 5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a recovery. This is yet another game where it's a lot of messy stat lines. Like it's just some blow-up games. Like Rachaad White is a must-start. Baker, I think, is a high-end 2. Jordan Love is a mid-range 2. Other than that, I don't feel great about really anything. This is another one where there's like a whole group here of what the fuck do we do with these guys?
Yeah, this is basically the floor with Mike Evans you get from this game. And like that's, you know what, you can live with that. Godwin, the last 2 games, he's been peppered at a really high rate. So I don't know if it's shifting or what it is, but it's worth noting. I'm still going to have him lower in my rankings, but like the last 2 weeks, he's seen double-digit targets. So that should something you can grab attention to. And if you want to throw him in your lineup, absolutely go for it. On the flip side, yeah, I don't know what to do with the wide receiver core. It's just a mixed bag. Reed's the guy that's the best one in that room, but he's dealing with injury, so it'll probably be Dobbs, but I don't have much confidence with him. Jordan Love was good. He just wasn't Baker Mayfield level good, which, you know, that's absurd because he had 381, 4 touchdowns. Love was still pretty good. Like, he didn't kill you in this game. The running back situation, Rachaad White's the stud. Like, he is who he is. He's going to be a volume just king. So if you have Rachaad White, you have a top 5 running back each moving forward. And Aaron Jones finally showed life, so you could probably start Aaron Jones next week if you're still alive with Aaron Jones on your roster. I don't know how many people are, but like you can start him.
Dolphins 30, Jets 0. Zach Wilson, negative 9.6 points. Trevor Siemian, negative 1.6 points. I don't think I've ever seen a game with 2 quarterbacks on the same team put up negatives, but the Jets. Tua, not a great game, 224 and 1 touchdown, kind of what we all expected in this one. Israel Abanikanda leads the way for the Jets. He goes 4 carries for 8 yards, 2 for 11 through the air. Brees goes 6 for 12 on the ground and 1 for 6 through the air. Not great. Raheem Mostert, 15 carries for 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, makes his day wonderful. Achane goes 9 for 32 and 3 for 30 through the air, but no touchdowns. Kind of a disappointing day there. The receivers, Garrett Wilson is the top Jet, 3 for 29. Lazard goes 3 for 21. Gibson, 2 for 29. Jalen Waddle, the big one over on Miami, 8 for 142 yards and a touchdown. Nobody else did anything out of the receivers. 2 startable tight ends, I guess, in this one. Tyler Conklin goes 4 for 18. What? That stat line doesn't make any sense. 4 for 18. Oh, this is tight end premium. Okay. I was like, how does that equal 7.5 points? It is if it's 4 times 1.5, right? Because then it's 6. Yeah. Okay. So this is tight end premium. Durham Smythe goes 4 for 32. So these two actually sucked, even in tight end premium. The kickers, Zerline sucked. Jason Sanders puts up 12 points on 3 for 3 for field goals and extra points. The Jets defense was not good. 3 sacks, but 30 points against. The Dolphins were awesome. 30.5 points, 2 interceptions, 0 points allowed, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries, and 2 fourth down stops. The Jets are bad. The Dolphins actually did something against a good defense. Anything else to say about this one?
I mean, yeah, it's really simple. The one thing is, without Tyreek Hill, Waddle is a stud in that offense. So if we don't have Tyreek Hill next week, which who knows, I think we will, but like you see a glimpse of life past Tyreek Hill. And Jalen Waddle steps forward, and he's a fantasy stud. So if you have that, start Waddle. If Hill's back, like Waddle will bump back down. But yeah, it's the Jets' offense is just brutal. It kills both Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So I'm assuming most people that had them are eliminated. If you have them next week, like you got some decisions to make if you want to play them or not, because it's going to be rough. Whoever the starting quarterback is, like that, I don't think they've announced it, but it's Zach Wilson or Trevor Siemian or whatever bag of bones they're going to bring into that offense. Aaron Rodgers almost made it back, but they're eliminated, so I don't think he comes back.
Yeah, I think he can be medically cleared this week, but they're out, so why bother?
Yeah, who knows what's going on? Yeah, it's rough.
All right, I'm sick of this game already. Start your Dolphins, especially the studs. Don't play any of your Jets.
Mostert's incredible.
Mostert, Waddle, Achane disappointing, but he should be better. Yeah. Same with Tua, disappointing, but should be. Who do they get next week?
It's a better matchup, right?
Dallas, not really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
kind of.
They'll force them to. Yeah, they got to score more. So
Jets, Cowboys, Ravens. That's not a great playoff schedule.
It's rough for him if you have him in fantasy.
I don't think Tua is going to be on too many championship-winning squads this year.
I don't think so. Nope, not so much.
Chiefs 27, Patriots 17, closer than I expected. Mahomes does what he's been doing. He's kind of a low-end QB1. 6 here, but I don't think he's probably 12th this week. 305 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Both interceptions went off of a receiver's hands, so they're not his fault. Bailey Zappi goes 180 yards passing, a touchdown and an interception. CEH, 13 for 37, but goes 4 for 64 and a touchdown through the air. McKinnon gets all of his on 1 completion. Did he throw a pass?
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns.
He threw a passing touchdown. That's what that is.
And he caught one, too.
So he threw one and caught one, but didn't do much else. So that's
just wild.
Zeke Elliott, 11 for 25 and 5 for 21 through the air. Not a great day. Kevin Harris goes 4 for 25 and has a touchdown to be relevant in this one. Rashee Rice is a stud, 9 for 91 and a touchdown. Devontae Parker, 5 for 44. Douglas goes 3 for 33. Nothing else to see here in the receivers. Kelsey disappoints. He goes 5 for 28. Hunter Henry goes 7 for 66 and adds in a touchdown. Butker was good. He put up 10 points, 4 for Ryland, who was bad. Both defenses were good, not great. 12.5 points for the Chiefs, 11.5 for the Patriots. Mahomes got really mad that his receivers aren't catching the ball. I think with the exception of Mahomes, I want to start Rashee Rice, Kelsey, and I don't think I really want anyone else here. I think Kelsey, moving forward, is no longer my dynasty tight end 1 either. He's at best, he's 3.
Yeah, I'm going to prefer like a lot of guys over him. You're kind of seeing a little decline mixed with some injury like that he's been dealing with, and he got injured in this game as well.
I think you're
But yeah, like they desperately need somebody on the offense, and they have Rashee Rice, who like I'm more confident in Rice than I am with Kelsey, which is crazy because they basically have the same stat line, and Kelsey's disappointing and Rice is better, like for usage wise. It just shows you where they're at. So Rashee Rice is really good, man. They finally have a wide receiver 1 they're confident with, and you see it on the field and forward. So overall, like Rashee Rice is going to be a nice play in the playoffs for you. Like it's a really good role. He's a really good player. I know we didn't like him coming out, but he's proven us wrong. And the running back situation is just a mixed bag. Like they're going to get looks down the goal line, so that's kind of what you chase with those guys. So overall, you just throw a dart on McKinnon or CEH and live with it if Pacheco's not back.
Aside from if you're desperate and need Zeke or Douglas, is there a single Patriot you're even considering rostering?
No. Like this, I don't trust the Hunter Henry performance. He's been nothing for like the entire year. He pops up here, so just no, thank you. It's just so weird.
Yeah. 1920, nothing. 2023.
Yeah. It's just so mixed bag. You can't trust it.
You got to go get her? Okay, I'll move on to the next one. We have Saints 24, Giants 6. Tommy DeVito, he goes 20 for 177, 4 for 36 on the ground. Derek Carr has 218 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, so he was good. Saquon Barkley, 9 carries, 14 yards, 2 for 23 through the air. Alvin Kamara, 16 carries for 66 yards and 5 receptions for 44 yards. The receivers, Darius Slayton, we have 4 for 63. Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 for 25. Nothing to see on the Giants side. Nothing really to see on the Saints side. Kirkwood led the way, but it was 1 for 7 and a touchdown. Rashid, I guess, led the way for receiving without the touchdown, 3 for 36. I don't really want any of the receivers in this one. That was ugly. The tight ends were salvageable. Waller had 4 for 40. Bellinger was not, 2 for 13. Juwan Johnson had 2 for 38, but the touchdown saved his day. Same could be said about Jimmy Graham, 2 for 9, but a touchdown. Foster Moreau chips in 3 for 13. Both kickers were not great. Bullock puts up 5 points, 8 points for Groupie. The Giants DST had 2 points as they recorded only 1 sack. The Saints were good, 20.5. They had 7 sacks and 2 fourth down stops. Jesse's not back, so I think this one's pretty easy to sum up. I think Derek Carr, for me, is still a low-end QB2. DeVito's a desperation streamer at best. Kamara, I'm still firing up as an RB2. Barkley, probably the same thing, although with no confidence. I don't want any receiver on either team unless it's Olave when he's back and healthy. Waller and Juwan Johnson have both been good this week, but I'd prefer to steer clear of them, and I don't mind the Saints defense. We can just wrap that one up then. Not a whole lot to see. It was kind of ugly. I will move on. It is Houston 19, Tennessee 16. Case Keenum got the start for the Texans. He put up 229 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in a mediocre game. Same for Will Levis, who got hurt. I don't recall what it was, an ankle. Yeah, an ankle. It sounds like he may miss some time. Not great for DeAndre Hopkins, if that's the case. He puts up 199 yards and 1 interception. He did have a rushing touchdown on 4 carries. Devin Singletary is the guy in Houston. He had a snap share of 75, and I believe it was single digits for Pierce. I'll double check. 5%. So Dameon Pierce is no longer a thing. Singletary gets 26 carries for 121 yards, 4 for 49 through the air. The other side, it's disappointing for both guys. Henry goes 16 carries for 9 yards. That's impressive. 4 receptions for a yard. So he has 20 touches for 10 yards. Good God. Tyjae Spears has 9 carries for 30 yards and 1 reception for 7. The receivers were a little more to see. Noah Brown goes 8 for 82 and a touchdown, 3 for 30 for Robert Woods. On the Titans side, Treylon Burks has 3 for 62. Chris Moore has 3 for 39. Not a whole lot else to see. The tight ends were, not terrible. They didn't kill you. They were just kind of there. Dalton Schultz goes 4 for 58. Chigo Okonkwo, 3 for 36. The kickers, Fairbairn was pretty solid, 17 points, 4 for 4 on field goals, 1 for 1 in extra points. Nick Folk was bad. He has 4 fantasy points, 1 for 1 on field goals, 1 for 2 on extra points. Both defenses were great because both offenses sucked. The Texans put up 20 points on 1 interception, 7 sacks, and a forced fumble. Titans put up 18 on 1 interception, 4 sacks, and a touchdown. So the defenses are good, but matchup dependent. I want to avoid the kickers. The tight ends are desperation streams, I think. As we currently sit, especially if Levis is out, I want no pass catcher on the Titans. I will take Noah Brown or who am I missing here, Jesse? Not Tank Dell.
What, Nico?
Nico's not done for the season, right?
No, he should be back.
So I will take Noah Brown or Nico when he's back. Devin Singletary, I think, is a must-start RB2. He's 31 overall, but that's going to move up before the season's over. I am done with Henry in Dynasty. Tyjae Spears, I don't like either of them currently right now. So in this game, basically, I want me some Devin Singletary, Brown or Nico, and I don't want anyone on either. There seems like a lot of matchups where I say one or two players, and I don't want anyone on either team here. So I definitely want Singletary, and I think I definitely would like Nico or Noah Brown. I don't know, what do you take away from this messy, ugly game?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird with Tennessee with the quarterback situation, but they get what am I blanking on it? They get Seattle next week, so that'll probably be a good matchup where if you survived with Henry, then
And
you'll
Houston
probably
again.
trust him. Yeah, so like you can trust him. It's just this was just an awful game. It just backfired completely. Did not work out well for them. So overall, but yeah, like we talked about Singletary on the morning show last night or yesterday, and we were like, man, this one game out of the last 4 has not been good for him. So, and then we're like, do we start him? I was like, you can start him. It's just lower, and then of course he goes off, complete bell cow, all the passing down work, all that stuff. So yeah, like I want Singletary in my lineups moving forward for sure.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty easy to summarize.
Yeah.
There's not really anyone here that you really want. Singletary. Moving on. 45-29. San Francisco over Arizona. Brock Purdy, 242 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Kyler is disappointing with 211 and 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Was injured at one point, right? Because Clayton Tune came in. Was that just to run a certain play, or was it?
I think it was.
Oh, he had something going on. Was it a groin injury or something? He was walking funny on the sidelines.
Yeah, I saw a notification where it was like, all right, Kyler's going to check the tent, and then he came back. So I don't know what it was, but it wasn't serious, I guess.
CMC at playoff time. It's a beautiful thing. 18 carries for 115 yards and a touchdown. 5 for 72 and 2 touchdowns. So what's that? 187 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's all.
Yeah, just no big deal.
James Conner was pretty good too, but not compared to McCaffrey. He had 14 carries for 86 and a touchdown and 3 for 3 on the receiving. Lovely. Amari Demercado was actually usable. A lot of it was on the touchdown. 4 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown. Debo was the only startable receiver, it turns out here. He has 1 carry for 11 yards, 4 receptions for 48 and 2 touchdowns. Ayuk puts up 3 for 37. The best stat line on the Cardinals was 1 carry for 5 yards and 2 receptions for 15 from Greg Dortch. Did Hollywood not play, or did he just not do anything?
Yeah, he got injured. It was not good for him.
He went in injured.
Yeah, he went in injured, re-injured himself.
Oh yeah, 32% of snaps, so he did play.
Just take my lineups. Don't play Hollywood next week.
The tight ends. Kittle was okay, 2 for 54. Trey McBride was awesome. He is my tight end 1 right now in Dynasty. I have him at 1 and Laporta at 2. He is 10 for 102. He did put 26 points without a touchdown that Eli Higgins stole from him. 4 for 44 and a touchdown. Otherwise, McBride might be the tight end 1 on the week. Both kickers were decent. 10 points for Moody, 1 for 1 on field goals, 6 for 6 on extra points. 14 points for Prater, who goes 3 for 3 on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points, but he hit from 40 and from 50. The Niners defense was solid, 16.5 points on 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and a defensive touchdown. The Cardinals had no defensive value, gave up 39 points and were a negative 2.5. I don't know if there's anything you can take away from this other than start James Conner and avoid every other Cardinal, basically.
That's basically what it is. I will say you can target who's ever going against San Francisco running backs, like who's ever playing against them running backs. They're giving up yards and like points. It's not terrible. It's not the worst matchup in the world, as opposed to the other position. So like it's okay to play a running back against the 49ers defense.
That would be Baltimore and Washington.
Ooh.
Never mind.
I don't know which. Yeah, scratch that.
Never mind. Never mind.
We don't even know who the start. Yeah, I think Melvin Gordon is playing.
Mitchell looked explosive yesterday until his knee exploded, and then it's Brian Robinson. If Brian Robinson's back, I'll play him, but I don't really want to fire up Gibson in this, so never mind. Yeah. We'll pass.
It's rough. Like these offenses are consolidated. You know what's going to happen. Sometimes if one of the guys super pops off, like McCaffrey hurts the other guys, but like I know we all love Ayuk, but Debo's just been better this year than Ayuk for fantasy, and his role continues to be good. So like I'm going to trust Debo over Ayuk. He gets better usage, so is what it is.
You know, it's funny. Okay, so Debo's wide receiver 12, Ayuk's wide receiver 14, which means next year Ayuk's going to be drafted higher than Debo, because whoever finishes higher gets drafted lower the following year.
Well, yeah, people absolutely love Ayuk because he's such a good player. It's just the situation brings him down.
So, anything else to add to this one?
No, I mean
That's
we know what it
scary
is.
for Kittle.
Purdy's a stud. Like,
If it weren't for
yeah,
one
I would.
solid catch for Kittle, that was like 37 yards. That's a really shitty day.
Yeah, it's rough for him sometimes. It's just part of that offense. Same thing with Ayuk. Like, these guys get brought. If they're on other teams, they would be the focal point of the offenses.
This
Yeah,
is
McBride's incredible.
sexy.
It's absurd,
man. Holy
like, I've been
shit.
preaching this.
Look
I've been
at
preaching
this.
this for 2 months. I'm like, dude, McBride's the guy. Like, of all the tight ends, McBride's the guy you want. And yeah, Purdy is I don't know, man. I don't know where to put him in Dynasty, but like, I think people are way too low on Brock Purdy.
I think he's top 12 now, possibly top 10. He's top 12
so.
at least, I think.
Yeah, like 100%. And you could probably still get him at a cheaper price than that.
Wow. All right. Rams 28, Commanders 20. Sam Howell gets benched for a second straight game. He has 102 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. Jacoby Brissett comes in relief and puts up basically the same thing, except 124 and two touchdowns, no interception. So he was better because Jacoby Brissett, go figure, provides spark and relief. They still said they're going back to Howell, so it's completely useless. Not like you're starting Brissett in the fantasy playoffs anyways. Just makes you worry, can you trust Sam Howell next week?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Week after against Jets and 49ers. So you're not playing Sam Howell again this season.
Sure. Yeah, just keep him on the bench.
Yeah. Keep him on the bench. Agreed. So Matt Stafford, he had a decent day, 258, 2 touchdowns. Actually, that's a pretty solid day.
He's been rolling lately.
Running backs. Gibson doesn't do much even without Robinson. He goes 4 for 15 and 5 for 20. Chris Rodriguez goes 10 carries for 35 yards. Kyron has a big day, 27 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Lost 2 fucking fumbles. Adds in 5 catches for 3 yards. So in PPR, he had a lot more value than in non, but still solid. The receivers, Terry McLaurin was good, 6 for 141 and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel was also good, 5 for 42 and 2 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson is dead, 1 for 12. Good God, why did he fall from grace? He was like a consensus top 30 receiver in Dynasty coming in. You could probably find him on waiver wires in some leagues. Like, look at this. What do you have? 2 games you could consider him startable all season?
The offense makes no sense with the amount they pass and how uninvolved McLaurin and Dotson have been. It's really baffling. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Cooper Kupp goes 8 for 111 and a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson, stealing some of the action here, goes 2 for 44 and a touchdown, limiting Puka, who goes 5 for 50. That's probably his worst game in a while. That's also a situation I'm not all that fond of. They seem to be 2 good Nakua games, 2 good Kupp games, 2 good Nakua, like they're alternating here. I feel like you're playing Russian roulette. The tight ends, Logan Thomas goes 1 catch, 7 yards. Tyler Higbee, 4 for 36. Nothing great there. Both kickers were bad, under 8 points. Commanders defense put up 11, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 recoveries. 9.5 for the Rams for 1 interception, a sack, a block kick, and 2 fourth down stops. So both were startable. This one, aside from, I think Stafford is a high-end 2. Kyron Williams is probably a borderline 1-2 for me. I think Kupp and Nakua are also borderline 1-2. Other than that, this one's scary. I don't want I don't want the Commanders running backs or quarterbacks. I don't really want to. I don't think I want anyone on the Commanders.
Yeah, so the interesting thing with Terry is once Brissett came in, holy shit, Terry McLaurin was going off. Yeah. So I was like, man, where's this been all year for McLaurin? He's really good. It's just, and Sam Howell issue, the issues with him and everything like that. But yeah, I put out a tweet. I was like, man, if only Terry McLaurin had Brissett as his quarterback.
Look at the difference in his YPC here.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's it's frustrating.
How is that possible with Brissett? You would think Howell would be chucking it downfield more.
Yeah, he's just inaccurate and stuff. So he doesn't do, he's kind of all over the place. He's on that Justin Fields roller coaster, with all the sacks, negative plays, and things like that. So it's just kind of I don't know. The Washington is just an enigma in itself. It's so hard to trust those guys. But yeah, with Brian Robinson comes back, you can trust him. But by the way, Kyron Williams is the RB2 on points per game. So you should be firing up Kyron Williams everywhere. He should not be on anyone's bench. He even fumbled twice, and he still got all of the work. They don't even care. They're like, Kyron's by far our best guy. So yeah, Kyron Williams is a stud. I'm plugging him in.
Back-to-back 25 carry games, 3 in a row over 20.
He's a monster. And he's sub 200 pounds for the sub 200 pound crew. Suck it.
And
he's really good. Yeah, that offense
He's
is
small
nice,
and slow, and
and it
still
does
does.
not matter. Yeah, like we were talking about this before, it's like scheme matters, and he fits that scheme so well. So yeah, I think we need to focus on that in Dynasty.
Somewhere
Moving
a
forward.
draft analyst's head just exploded.
Exactly right. It's like weird running back in situation.
Yeah. Opportunity over talent at running back. It's all that matters.
100%.
Case in point, Bijan Robinson. All right, Buffalo 31, Dallas 10, and I don't even think that game was this close. Dak, 134 yards and an interception. Justin Allen. Josh Allen goes, really? That is 94 yards passing and a touchdown and
They just
24
did not
yards.
pass. Look
Yeah.
at 15
Oh,
attempts.
you're right.
They
They
didn't need
fed
to.
Cook and he ran.
It was the James Cook show, man. It was nuts.
So move on to those running backs. Pollard goes 11 for 52. And James Cook goes 25 carries, 179 yards, and a touchdown, 2 for 42 and a touchdown through the air. And yeah, you're right. It was the James Cook show. Ty Johnson added in 9 for 54. Excuse me. CD Lamb was still decent because of a rushing touchdown and 7 for 53 receiving. Stephon Diggs disappointing, 4 for 48. None of the Buffalo tight ends registered a point. Jake Ferguson goes 6 for 44, so still two usable Dallas assets here. Both kickers were bad. Dallas defense was terrible. The Bills was good. Nobody played them, though. 12 points, an interception, 3 sacks, and a 4th down stop. So Buffalo, who do they got left? Like James Cook looks awesome, but they got Chargers and Patriots. So you are firing in James Cook next week.
Good grief. Like I'm just putting him in. So interestingly enough, the Cowboys played too high a lot in this game, and that usually means you could run on them. And Buffalo took full advantage of it, and they just unleashed James Cook, who's a good running back. And it's weird, like when you give good players good looks, like this things happen. So yeah, this game's really out of whack. Like you're not going to see games like this from Buffalo or Dallas. It's just one of those games where the matchup was bad for Dallas, and we thought it was better, and they just destroyed them. Like Dallas just could not stay with them at all. Like Buffalo looks like a problem in the playoffs, whoever they're playing. They figured it out. The offense looks good. The defense looks good. Watch out. They're going to be a dangerous 5-6 seed. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it's just.
You ever seen nice. Dallas, you ever seen a team that beats a quality opponent by 30 points, then gets beat by 30 points? Like, what? So they killed what they lost to the Jets, didn't they? And then they beat San Fran, or they lost like some of these. Then they beat
they
Philly,
just stopped
right?
Philly out. Yeah, they beat Philly last week. They killed them.
Yeah, I never understand it. Like, what they play a good opponent, they either beat the living shit out of them or they get their asses kicked. There's no in between, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I think their defense is a little bit fraudulent because they have been getting carved up lately. Like the Seahawks carved them up, the Bills, the Eagles. Like I know because we talked about
Duron Bland pick sixes, but if you look at even him, he's a prime example. Mm-hmm. He cheats every time on the play to get a jump. If he jumps it and times it properly, it's a pick six. If he doesn't time it properly, it's a touchdown going the other way. So he's the definition of what their defense is. It's a home run swing. They either hit the home run or they flat out strike out. There is no in between. And this week they struck out. So, all right, let's cap this one off with an ugly game with an ugly end too. Baltimore 23, Jacksonville 7. Baltimore is my pick right now to win the AFC. Lamar, 171 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Not great, but average. Trevor Lawrence looked hurt all game. Still throws for 264 and a touchdown. Lost 2 fumbles. One of them, he just decided to stop carrying it. Gus Edwards goes 16 for 58 and a touchdown. Keaton Mitchell looked explosive. He had 9 for 74, but he's done for the year. I don't imagine you'll get him back till late next season.
It might be a full missed year.
I was sitting there. I was at a work Christmas party watching it on TV, and I just every time I look up, he looked like he was exploding. He was awesome.
He looked good.
Kind of a shame that it ended that way. ETN's been down lately, 10 for 31, 4 for 28 through the air. The receivers, Baltimore, none of them were good. Best one was Bateman, 3 for 39. Jamal Agnew leads the way for the Jags, 2 for 71 and a touchdown on a long touchdown. Zay Jones goes 5 for 59, 5 for 39 for Ridley, 4 for 12 for Parker Washington. Tight ends were good and great. Likely was great, 5 for 70 and a touchdown. Engram was good, 4 for 28. Justin Tucker was good, 12 points. Brandon McManus was not, -1. The Ravens defense got you by. They put up 13.5, and the Jags let you down with 6.5. What is there to take away other than, I guess, the quarterbacks. Lamar, I think, is high-end QB1. Lawrence is pushing closer to QB2 with every day. I don't want any running back with the exception of ETN, although Gus could get more usage again with Mitchell out. I don't really want any pass catcher on either side right now, the way they're playing. And the tight ends, I think, are both low-end to mid-range tight end ones. What do you got?
Yeah, the weird thing about this game is how uninvolved Zay Flowers was. Like, he ran a ton of routes. He was the guy on the field the most. They just gave him one target, so I don't know what the heck that was all about because he's looked really good lately, and he just saw no work. And we're like, all right, strange. And then I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I could not figure that one out for the life of me what was going on. Yeah, it sucks for Mitchell, like you're talking about. So you could play Edwards, but he's going against San Francisco, and he really needs to be super efficient. So the passing down work isn't going to be there. So good luck with that one. There'll be like a RB3 for me probably next week. Lamar's a stud, like you talked about. On the flip side, T-Law went into concussion protocol, so he might not even play this week. So that Jaguars offense is going to be more just extreme because they're going to have Beathard as their quarterback. And good luck trusting those guys in that situation when you're in the semifinals, right? ETN, like you talked about, he's good. He just had a bad game. And Ridley, we talked about this with Jeremy, had 12 targets and did nothing with them. So that was fun. And unfortunately, Evan Ingram, he's good. He's been really good, but he had a down week. That's just how it goes. And they play Tampa Bay next week, whose defense is pretty bad against the pass. So you can likely fire up the wide receivers and the tight end in the semifinals. But I'm not going to have confidence with it.
Yeah, it's a lot of scary situations here.
It just describes the Jacksonville team. Like, it's been so up and down this year for them. Even though they have a really good record, they've just been up and down the entire year.
All right, that wraps a really chaotic Week 15. We've got Eagles, Seahawks tonight, so good luck with that. Hopefully everyone advances to Week 16. I know I'm still alive in a few leagues, and I'm dead and buried in a couple others, so hopefully you get there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow at noon for our Week 16. I keep forgetting, I'm like, what week are we in? It's amazing we got here so fast, but we'll be back tomorrow at noon for our Week 16 waiver wire show. For Aaron and Jesse, thank you all for tuning in. Take care, and we'll catch you tomorrow.